Hola, I'm live. I'm live and I got some natural light in the house. Okay, I already made my coffee. I'm going to heat my coffee up. Probably heat my coffee up 10 times during this live. What's up, people? What's up, people? I don't want to turn my back on you and be like, what's up? So, I have work today, and it's a late start. Um, so, thinking about going live for about 30 minutes. I can't believe they're making little AI movies that seem actually like legitimate Hollywood productions with A-list celebrities. I mean, you could tell it's fake. I mean, it's because it's maybe like a stupid plot or something, but it still looks pretty real. And I guarantee you, in the 70s, people were sitting around smoking pot, going, "Dude, in the future, we'll have computer systems where you could just type in like a movie or something you want to create, like a song or something, and it just creates it, dude. Anything you could think of, you just type it in, and we'll have these giant projector screens, and everything will be, dude, with our minds we'll be able to create everything." Sure enough, 50 years later. The thing about AI is it's a little bit too much hype as far as the whole artificial intelligence. It's not really. You got to understand that they're still programs. They're just advanced programming. That's really what AI is. It's advanced programming, meaning it's still created by humans. All the answers that AI gives you is just a more broader, detailed programming than Google. It's more of an in-depth answering platform. It's not like an alien fucking species has tapped into our computers. No, it's still human programs. That's what AI is. It's advanced human programming. And the computer programs that they've created has gotten so advanced where you type in Vin Diesel, Jessica Alba, love story, running from the mafia, set in the future. You just whatever, and you type in some screenplay, a couple lines, and then it shits out something that looks pretty legit. Okay, today we're going to go into a little bit of platinum and silver, why I invest in platinum and silver. It's more of like a hobby. I don't have any opinions on day trading or trade investments. I know some people buy a couple pounds of silver or platinum and try to flip it and make $1,000 in a day. I don't do that. I invest in specific platinum, silver coins, items that I just think are neat, but it's technically still is an investment because what I purchase is constantly going up in the marketplace. So I'll go over a couple items that I purchased. I don't have my main collection in this house. I have my main collection in a safe in California. That's where my platinum is, and most of my silver and everything that I acquired in my late 20s. I was making a lot of money. So what's cool about investing in silver and platinum the phone's turned around. If you said hi, hello, welcome to YouTube, to Trevor Wright's YouTube channel. This channel doesn't really have any sort of specific. I mean, I have my music up on YouTube, but those are different channels. This is just kind of, yeah, there's some of my music stuff on here, but this is just random content, just whatever I feel like doing. So, I know I was talking about silver and platinum, but where was I? Yeah, so it's there. I'm going to show you some coins I purchased last year, and a lot of these coins I purchased anywhere from $55 to $65, and now they're worth $105 for the exact coin. So everything else we buy, like my truck, I have a brand new Lariat, Ford Ranger Lariat, $55,000 vehicle loaded with the 2.7 V6 engine. Most of them have the 2.3 4-cylinder, and I have all the stuff. You know, it's leather seats, all the crap, the plugins in the back, just literally everything you could get on that truck, I have, you know, besides, you know, I know there's aftermarket stuff. So it's a fully loaded Ford Ranger Lariat, and but since I've purchased it, I've put almost 10,000 miles. Not yet. You know, I think I have 99,300 miles on it. So I've almost put 10,000 miles on it. Vehicles depreciate quickly. So I think a lot of older people, the longer you live, you start buying, you know, cars with not a lot of features, maybe a used car with 40,000 miles on it. You're trying to get a deal, because it's not really an asset. A vehicle is not really an asset. It's more of, it's flash. You know, it's like, oh, I got this brand new truck. I could have probably gotten 2018, a truck that's 7 or 8 years older, an F-150 with 60,000 miles on it, a bigger truck, a more powerful truck, for like almost half the price, for around $30,000. I could have been driving around a bigger truck for half the price, but it wouldn't have all of the fancy features like the front cameras and the mirrors that come out, and just all the crap that my truck does. You know, I could turn my truck on from my phone at night, and then when I step outside, you know, the side lights, and there's lights shining off my truck. It's nice, you know. I got a lot of features. I can turn my truck on now with my phone. I could turn on the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, temperature adjustment, and basically warm my truck up, which I do every morning before work. So when I get in there, the seats are hot, the heated steering wheel's on, it's warm, the windows are defrosted. And in, you know, an older F-150 model, you wouldn't be able to do that. Some people do install the pre-start on their phone. I've seen actually, I live in truck country, so there's a lot of people out here with trucks, and I've seen younger cats, you know, that have older trucks from the 70s and 80s, and they've installed the pre-start using their phone. You know, it's like this fucking truck's like in, you know, 1993, and it just turned on, and there's no one around. So obviously that's aftermarket. And you could also install, I've seen really nice King Ranches from the 90s with aftermarket screens. So it has like that old school 90s leather and that old school luxury interior from the 90s, and then they install the new screen. So it's actually a cool contrast, because you have like the old school luxury but with the modern technology. So anyways, stuff like that is fun to do, but that's not really an investment. Okay, they say poor people buy things like trucks and and $900 shoes. Those are things, and wealthy people buy investments, houses, apartment complexes, silver, platinum, things that increase in value over time. Okay, so let's go on. Let's go on over here. Okay, so yeah, we got some stuff over here. And I also have this smoked salmon that's been sitting in my cupboard for 6 months. Oh, and we're also going to get into Masonic Challenger coins a little bit, which aren't really worth any money, but they could hold sentimental value, and some of them can be worth some money. So, yeah, this has been in my cupboards for 6 months. I don't know. I think my grandma bought it, and it's wild Alaskan smoked salmon, and it's this little bag. I don't know. It's just weird, cooked fish in a bag. But it looks pretty spendy. I mean, it looks like it would be something that would cost, $12 to $16. So I might crack this open here in a little bit, and we're gonna give that a try. So silver, I have silver jewelry on me. This is 925. This was, I think, $65 to $75 on Amazon, and it's got the real silver markings inside. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Anyways, so it's real silver, and it has a lot of symbolism on there. Obviously, we have the Ouroboros, the all-seeing eye, the eye of God, the creator. And then we have the owl, which holds a lot of symbolism. And then, the skull and bones, you see that a lot in Freemasonry. And you see that a lot in Catholicism and Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox symbolism. So in traditional old school Christianity and Masonry, you'll see the skull and bones. Maybe in some other religions too, like Buddhism. It's not as much sinister as much as it's a reminder that we are all going to end up as basically bones, deceased flesh that eventually resonates to bones. So it's not so much a intimidating symbol as some people might say. It's more of a reminder to be aware of, I almost said your surroundings. No, not be aware of your surroundings, but be aware that we are all, basically going to die. So don't take anything too seriously in life as far as attachments and, don't worry about becoming too great or wealthy or anything, because you're going to end up like this anyways. Don't worry about making too many mistakes, or don't worry about other people, because they're all going to end up like this also. So it's kind of like a reminder it's basically like a chiller, like chill out, okay? There's no big deals kind of thing. I wrote down some nights. I can't even fucking talk. I think that's an age thing. I notice the older I get, the more I drop things, and I just can't find the words. That's such a random highlight for a topic. Pitching point for early social media. I remember in my early 20s, there was social media, there was social platforms. I'm not that old. Okay, but it was in the early stages, meaning not everybody was on social media. I would say about half of the people had a Facebook. And one of the pitches that you would get from people that were on Facebook and wanted you to get on that community was like, oh, you could catch up with all your old high school friends and people you went to school with in elementary school. You can see how everybody's doing. Um, people that you knew a long time ago, 20 years ago, and so that was kind of the pitch to get everybody on. Um, And that's what they told me. I think I got on Facebook when I was 27 or 28 years old, and they're like, "Oh, you could, all you, all you have to do is you type in their name, someone you're thinking about from high school or something, and they probably have a profile, and they'll come up, and then you could catch up with them and see how they're doing and what's going on." That was like that was a big thing back in the day. Before I show you some silver and platinum, um, I have my album dropping on March 6th, and it's available for pre-order February 1st. It's a 9-song album called Dark Country, and it has a little bit of post-punk, singer-songwriter stuff, and there's some synth pop, dark wave, and the album definitely flows. I definitely orchestrated it and composed it to be listened to from the first to the ninth song like a book, just how you would read one chapter at a time. If you listen to this album 1 to 9, I feel like there's definitely an experience that definitely takes you somewhere. Which essentially, I had this girlfriend in Portland, and she said that she felt like I was casting spells when I was playing guitar, and I never thought of it like that. But yeah, music sort of is like spell casting, or I think a better way to say it would be, putting people under a charm, and that's evident. I'm not being like a conspiracy theorist. Bands like Led Zeppelin, when you saw them live, when you heard their music, it definitely took you somewhere. Pink Floyd, even newer bands, a lot of a lot of females like Taylor Swift, and when they go to their concert, I mean, it's almost like a Beatles experience where they just totally go somewhere else. They could decompress from the day. All right, and that's what music's for. You go to a concert to decompress from the grind. Just to have fun, basically, to dance and have fun. I don't think there's really a lot of dance bands out right now. Not like a lot of like that 80s new wave was very danceable. And one of my songs on my album, No Other Way, it's definitely has an 80s new wave vibe. And I've never really recorded any kind of music like that. I always thought electronic music was really stupid and simple, but I did a couple electronic songs on this album, and I spent even more time on them than I did on my singer-songwriter stuff with guitar, because there's so much you could do when you're programming electronic music versus when you're just playing guitar. I mean, what you play is what it is. Yeah, you could move stuff around a little bit, and you could work on the EQ and the tone of the guitar. You could do stuff, but you could do so much more with electronic music. You could really move stuff around. You could really dive in on the details of, the sound of each note and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just never thought I was going to do, it's not techno, but I never thought I was going to do electronic music. I never thought I was going to get into that. But I'm actually having a really good time. And this album, there's only a couple songs that are fully electronic, and there's a lot of hybrid songs, like Priest and Apostate, Orange Knight, where, they have guitar singing, but there's also keys and programmed beats. So that's, I think, the kind of what's to come is that, where it's kind of both. It's live instruments, electrified, plugged in live instruments with tech. And I know people have been doing that for like 20-30 years. So I just never thought I was going to do it. I was always just so traditional, just guitar, bass, vocals, and drums. So because when I was growing up recording and playing music, to program drums or to use synth drums was a complete heresy in the music world. And a lot of people thought that, and people started doing that in the 80s, and people couldn't believe it. They'd be like, dude, it's fake drums, bro. It's programmed drums. But you could actually do a lot, and it could get really detailed, programming the drums. And nowadays, see, the thing is with recording music, going from analog to digital, is the live drummer, when their music is produced and engineered and mastered, they dissect that drum part where each kick is perfectly on time, each snare. It basically almost becomes robotic, for lack of better words, where, yeah, it's a live drummer playing it, but by the time it's edited and everything, it's so precise that it almost sounds computerized anyways. So you have that, and then you have the computerized drums starting to sound more and more organic and more real. And there's some songs like The Time of Flowers and some songs I use where the drums sound so real. You can't tell they're synthetic drums. You can't really tell. They're sounding so real, and then the actual real drums are actually sounding so synthetic. So there's that, like, that crossing, where it's, yeah, the synthetic drums, programmed drums are sounding so fucking real, and then the organic human drummer, once everything's edited and programmed, is sounding so fucking synthetic. So it doesn't even really matter now which one you use. Where in the 90s, when technology was still evolving, you could definitely tell what was synthetic drums and what was real live organic drums. There was a distinct difference. Not so much anymore. Let me heat my coffee up. So really, with AI, human computer programs advancing so much, really making things authentic and making things human is a great way to actually stamp your brand. Not looking so perfect, where 10 years ago, with content and music and stuff, everybody tried to make things almost look synthetic to make it be perfect. But now anybody could do that. So now to be authentic, to be human, to be flawed with your content and your music, it brings it back to real, to authentic, to human, to in time, basically. Um, so songs like I dropped a song a couple weeks ago and it's called Stand Up For Yourself. And the genre is kind of soul rock, I would say. Yeah, it's like soul rock, it's kind of slop rock, riff rock. It has this kind of late 70s soul rock vibe, in my opinion. A little bit of like the Meters meets MC5 kind of stuff. So anyways, when I recorded that album, my tuner was broken. And so I was basically, the guitar and the bass are tuned to each other. They're not in a universal tuning. And so there's a couple tracks where I would have to kind of like retune stuff and just try to do my best to tune it to previous guitar tracks. I'd have to retune bass stuff. So there's a lot of little, I guess this is like the secrets of Stand Up For Yourself. There's a lot of tuning issues, which gives it the vibe. That's why when you listen to it, it's kind of hard to stop. It's kind of you want to keep listening to it because you're like, that is fucking different sounding. It's because it's the tuning. So this is the way artists could sort of fight back this whole artificial art thing. You know, the half-ass, just have the computer program the lyrics. I'm not going to write all these lyrics. I'm going to just put in some ideas and have them write the lyrics, that kind of stuff. So now Stand Up For Yourself, that was kind of one of those mistakes that turned out good, not having a tuner at that time. But that's not something that I'm going to really want to get into too much. And that's why it has a very classic rock sound, is because back in the day, back in the 80s, back in the 70s, the 60s and 80s, there was a lot of bands that they would just tune to each other real fast, meaning they'd be on stage, the bass player would hit his D string, and then the guitar would just tune his D string to him. Meaning there was no real time to like plug in and use a tuner. They didn't have, pedal boards with tuners, and the tuning in the sound wasn't always really that in tune back in the day, especially with like genres like punk rock and stuff. You hear a lot of old punk rock recordings and the guitar couldn't get more fucking out of tune even if you tried. Which gives it a vibe. It gives it that kinked sound, just gives it an edge, and it gives it a vibe. It's punk rock. I always say a genre is a direct response or reflection for whatever's going on in society at that time. A genre is a direct response or reflection of whatever is going on in society at that time. And I've already gone into that. I've been live and talked about just that quote for over an hour. Probably archived the live, but it's there. It's out there somewhere. Okay. I feel like YouTube and Instagram has shadow banned me for some reason. Just it's like, fuck you guys, man. Oh. I definitely influence the influencers, so nobody could think of any fucking ideas on their own. So they're always feeding off the people that are shadow banned. It's like, what the fuck's up with that? So this is example of some silver. This is 999 silver. And it's the 1973 Olympic set. the Canadian Montreal Olympic set, and that's, obviously Queen Elizabeth. And so there's 4 coins here. So these coins, like 2 years ago, this was worth $69. And now this coin is worth $140 to $150. These are worth now like $70 to $80, and these were worth $40. So this is, this is a $500 to $600 silver set, just right in here. And this is an investment because I don't ever spend this, and it just keeps going up. And I also get a lot of, rarity $2 bills. This is a gold edition $2 bill. This is worth $30. These are all worth $20. And I have stacks of these in my safe. Let's try to open one of these. Usually I don't really open this stuff, but what's in this one? Oh, that's cool. So yeah, this one is the Indian one. So it's obviously an Indian chief. It's basically just a decorated $2 bill. It is actual legal tender, though. It's a real $2 bill. To an investor, to a coin investor, whatever, it's worth $20. But if you went and tried to buy something with this, it's probably only worth actual $2. But some of them though are worth a lot. I mean, there's some $2 bills out there that are worth $5,000 to $10,000 that you could sell. So I mean, I could sell these for 20, 40, 60, 90. It's $90 right here. It's 4 $2 bills worth $90. Selling this to a private collector, realistically, you would get probably $40 to $50 for these 4 $2 bills. It looks like I have more here. This one, though, actually is a Lewis and Clark one. And it actually has a dollar coin here. So $2, $3. This one was $30. You could probably sell this to an investor for like $15 to $20. So all this stuff increases in value over time. Like this Lewis and Clark $2 bill, in 15 years, it'll be worth $70 to $80, maybe even $100. And I paid whatever, like $30 for it or something like that. I forget. Stuff is dusty. So this one is this is a nice one. This is a Thomas Jefferson. So again, you have the dollar and the specialty $2 bill. And this, I want to say I paid anywhere between $20 and $30 for this. And yeah, in 10 and 15 years, this would probably be worth $80 to $100. So we have $2 bills here. And this is kind of like a hobby of mine. It's a good hobby to have because you're never gonna spend this stuff, and you're just gonna keep it, and it's just gonna grow in value. I have all sorts of silver in here. I remember I got this one in Portland. This is a beautiful piece. This is Queen Elizabeth, and it's 999 silver. It's an ounce of silver, and you have Pegasus on the back. So I like not just buying, big squares of silver just for financial investments. I like to get silver with cool designs on them in print. So we have Queen Elizabeth, and then we have Pegasus on the back. And so when I bought this for $65 in Portland, maybe 5 years ago. Not 5 years ago, probably like 3 to 4 years ago, I bought this for $65 and now it's worth $105. This exact coin, you could go on Amazon. It's worth $105. I paid $65 for it. So it's going to continue to just grow and increase. So this is an investment that has, or this is a hobby that is an investment also. What's this one? Oh, this is a cool one. This one is also, now this one is 9999 silver. So this is even more pure. But also Queen Elizabeth, an older, a more aged Queen Elizabeth, and this is Aphrodite on the back. Beautiful piece. So again, I bought this, I think, for $65, and it's worth $105 now. So I have, again, I have safes of this crap. I mean, I have so much silver. Now my collection, I have Rolex watches. I have literally bars of platinum, $60,000 in platinum, all in California, in safes. Because, you never know. I'm not so sure about, the Federal Reserve. You could put some money in banks, but at any time the government could do a hostile takeover on anybody. You don't even have to be a criminal. They've done that to corporations and wealthy individuals where or something happens with the bank and you just get locked out of all your money and they're like, sorry, it's gone. And there's just nothing they could do about it. Sometimes you get your money back maybe after years of expensive court, but shit happens with banks. I've heard horror stories. People like, God, I had millions in the account, and they're just like, it's gone. Sorry. Don't know. Do you have any proof? Do you have any paperwork? And that's another thing is when they ask you, do you want to switch from digital to paperwork? A lot of people are like, oh, I want to save on paper. It's like, you're paying the bank to hold your money. They could at least send you some fucking forms letting you know what they have. Because if it's all digital and something happens to your email and you have no proof, like I had, $1.2 million in my bank. They're like, well, do you have any kind of like physical paperwork saying you have anything? No, because you guys made me switch to digital and I'm locked out of my email or whatever, shit happens. So it's good to, with banks, don't press digital only. Make them send you some fucking paperwork, some bank statements. Let them do something. There's a bar there. So I'm also into coins. This one is, which is 19 something. Eventually I'll have each year. 1976. So this is a set for 1976. Front and back. Obviously, dollar, half dollar, quarter, nickel, penny, dime. This is like value 17 to 20 bucks. In 50 years, it'll be worth like 100 to 120 bucks. Or that's like in 10 years, it'll be worth like 80 to 100 bucks. In 50 years, it'll be probably worth maybe $800 to $1,000. So again, an investment. And if you have a unique enough collection, sometimes you could find a private buyer that has like a lot of shit. Maybe he owns a store or he's an enthusiast. Like he'll buy, your entire set for maybe even more than what it's worth. I mean, if he really likes, like that Pegasus coin, like, stuff that's really unique, you could, things are what people will pay for it. So if you have a really unique collection, you could sell your collection for $400,000, $700,000, depending on, really what you have. It's nice living out in the country. I'm telling you, they want you in the city, 15-minute cities, rushed. Oh, hustle, make money, man. You gotta buy this. You gotta pay your bills. You gotta this and that. Keeping up with the Jonases. I'm like, nope. I'll just quietly live in the country and slowly collect silver and platinum, and have peace of mind and have millions of fucking dollars. So what we have here, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this. Okay, I can see myself. So this is called a Challenger coin. Freemasonry. It's a widow's son Challenger coin. You have a lot of symbolism on the back. You have the two suns. It's like, what is that? What's that mean? No, actually, that's the sun and the moon. That's not two suns. That's the sun and the moon. So there's three lights in masonry. You have the sun and the moon, the candlelight, and the light of the brothers. I think that's it. Something like that. There's three lights in masonry. I do know that. I forget exactly what they are. So this one I just bought on Amazon just for fun. And then the real Challenger coins look like this. This is an actual real Challenger coin from an actual active lodge. And it says spread the light. And a real Challenger coin, you have to either attend you have to attend an event or earn it. An actual real Challenger coin from a lodge. Bam. You have to see. I attended an actual lodge event and received this as a special guest. I'm like, I don't feel like a special guest, but thanks. Okay. It's 11:11 right now, North Arizona. Make a wish. Make it a good wish. Wish it to be true. Okay, so Dark Country is available for pre-order February 1st. Okay, kind of a boring live, but I just felt like going on and talking about platinum and silver and stuff. Something felt just, it's a fun hobby. It's fun collecting rare coins, and I got old coins from, the Civil War from the South, old, really old coins, and all sorts of stuff. I got JFK, I got JFK coins and just a bunch of stuff. St. George, the Dragon Slayer, and Prince Edward, all sorts of really cool stuff. So I think I'm off. Pre-order my album on iTunes or Amazon Music. Again, it's a 9-song album. It's just not a lot of songs, but some of these songs are 4 to 5 minutes. Most of the songs are 4 to 5 minutes. Let's see, so that song, 45 minutes. That song, 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Yeah, so maybe like 3 or 4 of the songs are for 4 to 5 minutes. So it's time wise, it's about average length for an album. And then I'm already starting to think about new projects and new songs I'm going to be working on. The next album, like Physical Copies was more or less live. I mean, we just plugged in, we recorded everything. It was almost like a live session album, and I like it and it sounds good. And then this time She's a Villain, the same way. And then this album, Dark Country, kind of took a while. Put in a lot more hours on this album. But the next album I do, I want to spend even more time and make sure, spend months and months on it. We just went into, what's up to the viewer? We just went into platinum, silver investments and a little bit on AI. I don't know, everybody's their own little content creator now. It's different now. Everyone's there has I don't know if we really have celebrities anymore because social media, social platforms, and advanced programming has kind of made celebrities obsolete because back in the day we only had TV and movie theaters. And yeah, there was people making like little B-rated movies and stuff, but usually the only people that saw them were the people in their circle. Now you have, everybody making movies, music, everybody's their own little celebrity, and it's really endless if the algorithms pick up on you. So I don't know if there's really celebrities anymore. It's like there was celebrities, and they still try to make impressive movies, but the movies got so dark and esoteric and kind of negative. Like honestly, from really like 98 or like the 2000s on, every time you watch a movie, you don't feel really great after you watch it. Like, oh, I feel great. Where in the 90s, there's a lot of movies where you walked out of the theater and be like, oh, that was good. That was intense. But the newer movies, it's so animated with AI and programming, or it has this like the dark, esoteric, kind of indifferent feel to it, where you watch this 2 hour movie and people are like, oh, that's so real. It's like, I don't know, dude. I feel kind of fucking depressed now that I just sat through that shit. you know? So I don't know. They don't make movies like they used to. I think I'll end on that.